Strangely, I watched the second one and didn't watch the first one.
I like the
So
first
she
one.
hasn't been in anything.
The book
Crazy.
sounds kind of funny
Yeah.
because it mentions that he's a corporate zombie. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wears
he's-
red.
and he has a zombie wife and kid to feed.
Love it.
All right, that does sound like a fun premise. I'll give you that. But
She really peaked in this movie.
all right, so clap sync
She's
on
in
3.
Berlin
1, 2,
Syndrome. I've
3.
seen that
Welcome to actually got him.
one. Hey.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's
What?
okay.
To a well-synchronized episode of the F and Movie Podcast.
Yes, sir.
We're your hosts, Nathan Dillon, Mason Price.
We're a lot less colorful this week than we were last week.
But boy, are we glowing.
Yeah,
Yes, we are. There's a
yeah.
lot of sun.
There is.
Oh yeah.
God forbid we
we're
did
well
this.
lit.
We did it in daytime hours. We've crawled out from our undead hidey hole to fit the bill in character to sit there and review. I can't pitch it to anybody, so I'm gonna pitch it to myself. So we're reviewing Warm Bodies. None of us picked this.
The wheel.
The wheel of those. You know what? The wheel is such an important character in this show. We said
It
wheel.
now has its own agency.
It has its own agency.
We were supposed to pick a movie, one of the top movies from 10 years ago, and February of 2013, turns out, wasn't a hot month for cinema.
Well, February and January is pretty terrible.
Yeah.
If we made it to 2015 or 16, we'd be getting at least Wix or Deadpool.
If we spin again and it hits it again today, it'll be Identity Thief.
Well, we don't like double spinnies for the
We'll be able
wheel.
to-
Yeah, we can't let it have too much.
Too much power. Soon it's just gonna be the wheel.
That's what you're here for.
You know what?
Just spinning
I
the
would.
talk.
I would frankly love to do a review where we just pick a movie, let the wheel sit there for 30 minutes, and then we come in and spin it, and then we just leave, and then we see how it does on the channel.
We could try it.
If it does relative to our regular content, we quit the whole thing.
There's a movie about a rubber tire that can
Rubber!
succeed.
God.
Then we can succeed with that.
Rubber,
Don't
rubber.
start.
Of course I've seen that.
We put a
When it starts killing people, it just...
we put a
and then the
literal.
person's just sitting there, and then...
All right, so that's not what we're reviewing, but if we ever have to, we're just gonna let the wheel and a tire review it.
Yes.
So Warm Bodies is a movie about zombies, zombie apocalypse, but with a little twisteroo, you see. So
A little soul searching.
yeah, our main character a zombie meets a survivor of a crew that he helps murder and
Eats her boyfriend's brains.
eats her boyfriend's brain. Now in this universe, I like this aspect. You get the memories and the
it's
juicy
just like
taste. Yeah.
Zombie.
Right.
Same thing.
And
Well, it's got. I like how there's like this moral quandary for the zombies too, where
Mm.
he's like, you know, if I don't eat the brains,
he animates
then he reanimates. He becomes one like us, but I can't help it. I want to eat the brains.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
and
the best part.
It's like a high moment for him too. Like he does it.
Yeah.
He's just like that number 8 with the magnet. He's just like, oh yeah, I'm daydreaming about this dude's life.
I'm just taking the stroll through his. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
say it right now. I'd be eating brains. Fuck y'all. I'll thin the herd. I don't care if there's one of me and I'm like super juiced. But
That is a cool concept though.
it is. It's a cool concept. So anyway, he starts to affectionately feel feelings for the guy's ex-girlfriend now, I suppose. And hijinks ensue, for lack of better words. Anyways, the zombies start maybe turning back into people because the power of love, Murph!
I put that in my notes.
Yes.
I was
When I was
gonna
watching the
say
movie.
it.
I knew it. I beat you guys to it.
I told
It's my
Kelly,
joke.
I was like, it's love, Murph. She goes,
the
what are you
answer.
talking about?
I promise, unrelated. I have a question. For this movie since this is nobody's. But
Is it related to Interstellar?
it is. You know what? I'm not gonna say.
Well, you've already alluded to
No, it's unrelated. It just it made me think of it though.
it. All right.
Okay. So anyway, then hijinks ensue. Are the good zombies good? Do we got some bad zombies who are really bad and definitely beyond redeeming? Hijinks.
I mean, it definitely shows you almost out of the gate like there are worse zombies.
Yeah.
There's
The
like
bonies.
the clicker versions that are
Skeletons.
called bonies.
Yeah, Skellies. That's what. Yeah, it was Skellies on that one. Yeah,
Bonies.
Boney. Is this?
They're definitely bonies.
Well, so the humans call them skeletons.
Yeah.
But
They
they
call
also
it-
call the
it's-
other ones
It's
corpse.
corpses and skeletons.
Corpses and skeletons. Yeah.
Dude, they're nasty.
The subtitles
too.
say
Yeah,
bonies.
they're.
Oh yeah.
They got some rot to them. You know
Like,
that.
For how like upbeat this movie is, it has a very like Zombieland type of approach.
Yeah.
And then they show those bonies, those skeletons, and they're it just brings you right back down to like, oh, okay, this is
like
supposed
there's
to be.
some pretty real terror
Yeah.
available to this world.
But the core of this movie.
Yeah.
Is a teen romance love story between R and Julie.
There you go, you two.
That is true.
So
Take it away.
all right, so here's before we leap into that, I do want to say one more thing on the Skelly Bony Boys is that
Oh my god.
they are, you know what? In a lot of ways, they're symbolic of how I feel in this movie. I am like just on the cusp one way or the other. So I'm not getting into my spoiler review, but they're like CG is like just. It's kind of bad.
2013.
It's
Yeah,
2013,
it's
but
not the best, and it's also like.
but it's not the. It's just good
I
enough.
think it's okay.
I
I
think
think-
it's good enough.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do think that they definitely made one model and
Yeah.
just were like.
Copy paste, copy paste.
100%.
Yeah.
But also, that is the only CGI in this entire movie.
Yeah.
And I think that shows a lot because, like,
The explosion of the wall at the end.
oh,
yeah.
I don't think that's
Yeah.
practical.
But as far as,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
creatures,
Yeah, but that's just
or-
like a few second
Yeah.
little
Right.
set piece thing.
They could have had like zombie rats.
They
They,
didn't
had
even need to do
CGI
that.
and do
Yeah.
all that, but it was
No.
literally just the skeletons, and that's why I think it didn't look so fluid with everything else. But
Yeah, I'll say that they're definitely like age CG, but for what it's worth, here in 2023, we'll date this a little bit. I'll say that they didn't look terrible enough for me to be like, ugh, this fucking movie.
this,
No.
yeah,
No, it's not that bad at all. And one of the things I did like about this movie is what to expand a bit upon what Dylan was saying is that the concepts of this movie were pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
the zombies eating brains, that gives them the memories because they want to feel whole again. They want to feel those kind of things, and that's one of the reasons why they eat. Like they eat the meat. It seems like because they're hungry. Because like they say like eat hungry. That's what
Yeah.
the other his friend zombie
Yeah.
says, and the brains are just kind of an extra bonus. Like it feeds them, but it also does their memories. And then I also did kind of like the fact that just making them feel again like made their heart start beating and be more like a person. Even though the core concept is silly, it's something different, which I
It's
did
silly,
like.
but it is refreshing, and
Mhm.
I like the things that they did, and I also like the things that they didn't do. Specifically, John Malkovich's character could have been just awful,
Yeah.
but he's pretty hardline, but he at least makes the turn when he needs to make the turn.
Like
Yeah.
at the very end of the movie.
Yeah, he doesn't commit to just being like, shoot him, we don't care.
You know,
Yeah.
they set up just enough of a premise for him to have been bad the whole way through
Yeah.
because he admits to the fact that he killed his own wife because she was a zombie.
Mhm.
And you could, if this were a more serious movie, the motif of that could have been somebody unwilling to accept the fact that they killed their wife and didn't need to have done so.
Hard
And-
denial throughout.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't do that.
Mhm.
Even though I feel like there was definitely room for that to have happened.
Yeah, I would say that this movie definitely tiptoes the line in a lot of ways of being like very easily falling into writes itself tropey stuff, and it definitely has moments of that. But I think that it's doing just enough to stay on the right side of the line where it's like we've got some fresh like zombie lore ideas to play with the rom-com, the teen romance idea. We're, to your point, not letting characters feel way too predictable or dive too deep into the curve. We do want it to kind of come around and still stay in its lighthearted tone, with the only thing really being heavy is like the spooky boys.
Yeah.
I mean the Stockholm syndrome situation just at stake
I do love the
here.
Beauty and the Beast.
I mean, it was a very strange concept. It was pretty fresh as far as like the zombie side of things goes, because this is right after Zombieland or a few years later.
Mhm.
They kind of opened the door to like some of this like comedy. Let's throw some blood and some
Additional
gore.
genre
Yeah.
plus zombie.
Yeah. But I do think that like if you take a few steps back from this movie, maybe I just wasn't into it all the way. It's just like, all right, like how on earth? He basically yanked her and said that it's safe if you come with me. Like, come with me, you'll stay safe. No, it's still not safe yet. No, give me a few more days, you're not safe yet. You're looking at it from the other side of things. It's kind of it's not so.
When is it ever going to be safe? Right?
Yeah, which, I don't know.
And she falls
I
in
mean,
love
I-
with a zombie.
He's handsome though.
He is
A
handsome.
zombie.
And man, he
Hey,
looks good at the
listen,
end.
relative to okay, let me first start by saying actually I'm with you. Like I wanted to challenge like how realistic is it to fall in love with a zombie. So zombie aspects aside, and they work their way through the worst parts of the zombie relationship by the end of the movie.
Heck, towards the beginning.
They're all pretty good looking. Most of them are pretty good looking zombies. They're not like totally decayed and rotted. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like.
There's that one guy that's like,
Like, oh, don't
Yeah.
don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah,
That's
don't.
gross.
Oh no, you're making it worse. Yeah, yeah. Like there's ones that it's like they're very clearly like, you know, a couple scratches away from being like horrific looking.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's me or my like fetishization of horror babes, where I'm like, I think if they were showing more of the like women on this side, there's some very like.
They're looking good.
We need to see the women to
Yeah.
really get a judge.
Right,
Yeah.
truly, true. Because if nothing, if we're only going on Nicholas Holt, good-looking zombie dude.
Yeah, he is a good looking.
I would hang out with him based on his presence, as long as he's not trying to eat.
Well,
me.
the other guy's still in a suit. His
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah,
I mean, he's-
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Did they
yeah.
say why?
As far as like the way in which they all died, it looks like nobody really had too gruesome of
Yeah,
an end.
yeah.
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 Well, they said the only time that I heard Annalise Tipton's character, which is like Julie's friend, said
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah, she does.
the
He
one with the
doesn't.
long neck.
Yes.
Long neck and the makeup.
Okay.
Yeah.
She doesn't
She's
even
sexy.
smell rotting. Like, you know,
Mhm.
blah blah blah. I didn't know if they had ever pertained to why he had been like cleaner.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's.
Well, I think it's supposed to be a lot of just him like basically reanimating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it kind of he's the one that very early on it shows his heart start beating and stuff like
Okay.
that.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
So the other ones probably smelled a little worse.
Yeah, and I would argue that there's so in reality, I think that like the best argument you could try to make that why that he isn't particularly stinky is that like in this world the zombification is just like halting the body's processes, not rather than decaying the processes.
Sure.
Because if it's decaying, he's been zombie for an X amount of time anyway. There's no fucking way. Like if he starts beating
Well,
back,
and if
it's-
they need to eat, then there's still some kind of metabolism.
right, yeah.
going
So
on
there's
as
something
well.
fine tuned there. So the science, I mean, but if I have to dig that deep into
That's what I'm
finding.
saying. Here we are, just digging around.
If
It's
I,
not too
yeah,
bad.
Not too bad. So I like movies like you think.
Something else that definitely needs to be mentioned is the soundtrack, because they
Yeah.
they must
yeah.
have paid they paid big dollars for these songs, and they're like, we're gonna play these max volume, no dialogue, nothing's gonna happen except you're gonna listen to this song. Like,
I can't
That is
remember
a
them in
terrible-
particular, but there was a couple like rock songs.
Well, we're not gonna take it in there.
the biggest ones I remember were "Patience" by Guns N' Roses was a big one.
There's Pretty Woman.
Oh, yeah,
and
there's
then they
the
turned
ironic
it
Play
off,
Woman one,
and
yeah.
then they turned I think that.
and
one
then the
on.
biggest one that is the biggest offender that knocks it down by 2 points by itself.
Oh come
Whoa,
on!
I'm
Whoa,
telling
here we go.
I'm telling you, is the song from every indie teen romance movie. Is that I think it's Passion
Oh, it's
Pit.
it's Midnight City by
Yes.
M83.
That's it. Is that
That's what it is.
Ba, ba, ba,
Yeah.
ba, da, ba,
Yeah.
ba,
That's
ba,
when it
ba,
I
turns
didn't
ba.
off.
even notice that. In
No,
there.
that's what Pretty
I
Woman turns
hate
off,
it.
and she's like, "Well,
Oh,
I thought it was
yeah.
ironic," and then dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, you
I
gotta slow it down. You go too
hate that
fast.
because it's used in every movie, and it's always used to like show you or to tell you that there's a budding relationship coming from this.
It's a montage. Of what
I
happened.
cannot stand it.
I
Every
love
time
that
gets
song.
on,
I
so
think it's.
much.
I think it's a
No,
great
I
song.
like
I
Very cool.
still like the
Yeah.
song.
I like the song, but when
Yeah.
it's used in a movie, it's always used in the most ham-fisted and terrible way I have ever seen, and it by itself knocks us down. Basically, any movie by
He's just
2
looking for an
points.
excuse to knock it down for 2 points anyway.
No,
That's
That's
a
true.
lot of points.
That's a lot of points
It's
for
a
just
lot
a
of points
song,
for
right?
M83.
Yeah.
I use 10 points, and 2 points is a lot, but there's
what's
more.
the nitty-gritty?
It's 20% of the
Yeah.
points.
It's 20%, bro.
This movie was 20% worse for about a 30
For
second clip.
Yeah.
about 25 to 30
I hate it
second
when it
montage.
feels like the movies like feel like this, like it does it in a very terrible.
It was
and
just him getting
not a good way.
spruced up.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
don't
do
like
think that music does get used a lot to be like, hey, this should make you feel this way. We're using this song for this reason. Like, oh, get hyped up. We're gonna play a Guns N' Roses song.
Yeah.
yeah.
We're gonna
But
play a Little
I-
John. Now your adrenaline's through the roof.
See what
now.
other songs.
I guess I
Little
don't
John.
necessarily.
Little John.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't. I'm with you. I don't hate it. I think that like, and especially in this genre, it like so often relishes in its little montage music videos. Like that's.
Mhm.
And this one does.
So in a lot of ways, though, I feel like that it's almost being tongue in cheek about it, which is I always come back to saying if you're doing it intentionally with a sense of like, of course we would,
Uh-huh.
then like I'm not gonna fault it. It's when the movies who are doing it in a tone deaf way and it's not, and in a movie that's been being tone deaf for a while that's when it'll bother me. But this one, I mean, again, it even plays the Pretty Woman one and it cuts it out because it's
It's
on
too
its own joke.
ironic.
Right?
Yeah,
It's
It's too coincidental.
and maybe it's just that smug hipster music roots in me that just, if you're doing it ironically, I'm okay. In
Let's
fact, I might
go.
like it more for it.
M83 has 2 songs.
Yeah.
One of them gets used in every trailer imaginable for a sad-ish movie, and then the other one gets played in this movie.
Indies and rom-coms
Yeah.
are like teen rom-coms especially. They love this song. But
I'm trying to see like what all the movies it's been in.
goodness.
All right, so Price just had that little rant about like
Yes, I did.
down 2 points.
Yeah.
My thing is this movie. I don't know if you guys watched last week's episode of 9, but these two wanted to change the ending of the movie because they foresaw something going. They foresaw the direction that the movie was going in.
Yeah, we did.
This movie, did it do that? Because it definitely created their souls. It revamped them. Fault in Our Stars, yeah. Step Up Revolution.
Well, that's actually the
It's
impressive.
used in Fault in Our Stars. If that just does not.
Yeah. Of all movies that is not in on its own joke.
So did Ziggy Azalea was in that movie too.
Sorry, keep it up. You were making.
Anyway.
Anyways,
So ending.
for the soul crushing ending that 9 had.
Mhm.
For this movie to basically
Literally
spin
soul-crushing.
exactly.
Yeah.
This movie to spin it and say, you know what? These people have their souls back.
Yeah.
They can have them. No harm done here.
Well, I'm not going to presume
Everything
God's
is
plan.
happy.
They get their
No,
heartbeats back.
This is
I don't know
Drake's
about their
God's
soul.
plan. and
I
you're
don't.
gonna tell
I
me
don't know about
it.
souls, but they do get their hearts back.
Their souls are back. They got to. Didn't what's his name start seeing his old memories?
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
that's
that could
like
be brain-
that's your
brain kicking back
firing back on.
Yeah.
You've got memories. You've got a pretty good thing going.
I don't think this delves
I don't need a
into
week to
the
quantify
ideas
to
of
the soul. Right? Yeah.
Where are
But-
you going? What's your conclusion?
No, I was
Like,
just.
are you just having a problem with the fact that this ends happy?
Well, it ends in a way that what you guys wanted 9 to do last week. This movie does that. Everything
Yeah. What
happens
happened?
at the
everything
end.
comes
Everything
back
is
together.
perfectly fine. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Versus last week where it was
Right,
like
so-
that.
I think this movie is better for the fact that it does just go like, hey, you know how zombie movies usually end with like one side or the other being annihilated?
Well, it's literally a
No, actually, everybody
it's the
just
end
comes
of the
together.
world
And
movie.
it's happy.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mason. I'm on their team on this one because like the movie has this tone and direction it's going, and it doesn't feel like there's a flip at the end, like
Yeah.
on what you should be
Oh,
expecting.
yeah, and I guess I'm not wanting just a dark, dreary thing, but I will say at the end of like Zombieland, they end on a high note too. Just not that everything's okay, but
Sure, they can
Fuck,
play
we're
bittersweet,
fucked.
right?
Yeah,
like
like,
we're still fucked, but
let's just drive a yellow Hummer down the road and watch the camera pan out, and it is what it is.
Right.
Versus this movie where basically everything is just like cohesive. Everything is gonna live, amongst each other. and
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
I think that's a little cheesy, but at the same time,
Is
like,
it cheesy? Yeah, but this is very into its romance, which is the proprietor
Yeah, I
of
mean,
cheese.
this
so
this is a cheesy movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is a
So
cheese
it's like-
factory genre.
It delivers exactly what you think it's going to.
Yeah.
So I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah, hypothetically, to like entertain the idea though, if it went dark, let's say like Dad's like, nope, hard denial, shoots and kills Holt, and then like they maybe survive with like some of the people getting through the Skelly boy attack.
I see
or
the
something.
I see the skellies and the corpses
Right.
banding together to overtake them more so than anything because those zombies can't do shit
Right, but
by
then
themselves.
No,
They
right.
are slow. They care
Yeah.
too much, and they aren't getting any bodies.
to your point, like I still think like this movie, even if like that's the play, I don't think it ever goes full dark. I think in that one, if I'm writing the ending,
Humanity still perseveres.
I think it's not even humanity. I think that the zombies and skeletons all win. But here's the thing: now everybody's a zombie. It just like shows everybody hanging out in the airports and doing zombie hangout stuff. Like
Yeah.
that's how it keeps its like levity at the end, and it's like this bittersweet. Everybody died, but now we're all kind of on the same page, and like zombiehood.
Like then John Malkovich and
his wife or something.
well no is it, oh
Yeah,
no,
he did kill her. He
Oh,
killed
yeah.
her.
is it John or who's
Who's the other bald guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never.
Oh,
the
his
guy from the
friend.
airport.
Comedian,
Yeah.
the
His friend.
like
Right.
they're just sitting at the bar together.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
like,
they named him like Burr. Or
Yeah.
something.
But like, yeah, I think you could like. I think that's what, and I would even reckon that's probably a ending that was on the table for discussions. Like, do we just have everybody be zombies and we all just cut up at an airport later? Like, but frankly, nah. I mean, if we're looking at totally bleak endings, it would feel out of place.
Mhm.
But any other thoughts before we should go into shape of the movie then? Shape of the movie: fat, thin, perfectly fit.
Was it skeletal?
That's a good question, Nathan. I don't know. You lead us up. Where do you think?
You could probably argue that this movie's a little bit fat.
Mm.
I don't think it's a very long movie, but it doesn't necessarily need to spend quite as long in the like trapped in the airplane section of it. I think there's like a couple of moments of almost escape hijinks that happen there that, like, it makes it clear that she definitely is not just along for the ride. Like, she is looking to get out of the situation if she possibly can.
She tried to escape once, if not twice. Like,
Yeah.
He
Which
caught her.
is, I mean, I guess it's good for it to show that sort of stuff, but I don't know, he could probably trim a lot of that sort of thing down a little bit. But overall, I mean, I wasn't like looking and seeing like, oh yeah, how much longer does this thing got to go?
you know what? Talking about his like little airplane time in the in his little airplane area. That was like when Hey Arnold has that really cool room up in the very top of the.
That's Arnold's room.
Well,
That's
whenever
what-
they,
yeah,
whenever
it's
they
a
first
sweet-ass
show
room.
you that airplane too, they don't really. It unless I missed it, it doesn't seem like it's established that that's his.
It does not show
space.
until she is like getting more like comfortable being around him. Then it shows like a record player and like
Yeah.
cool little knickknacks that she keeps bringing out.
And I don't think it like before that scene happens and like they talk about him being a hoarder. I don't think they do anything to allude to him being a hoarder either. Because later,
No.
whenever they're in the houses in the suburbs, he like takes something off one of the tables and sticks it into his pocket. So there is like him like picking stuff up still, but I feel like that doesn't happen until after it's already
She
been
says it.
established how he is.
In continuity, I guess. I didn't notice that, but that makes sense.
I would say, nah. I think this movie's fit. If I at worst I trim maybe some of the like I need to go scenes like because I feel like that line just got said like 100
He
times.
just wanted a full Stockholm.
I know he did. He was like, "You're gonna love me."
She's gonna fucking believe him. Just let her
Yeah.
do her thing.
As
I
a
don't need
fan-
all these.
As a fan of Beauty and the Beast, though, I gotta say that it doesn't bother me so much. It was just like I remember thinking like at one point I was like, "Am I having a stroke?" This is like the fourth time I've heard this line, and like that's about the only part I really got. Because and it's not because this movie is like a perfectly well balanced movie or anything like that. It just it definitely has a runtime that matches what it's trying to tell, and I don't feel like that it overstays its welcome for too much longer than it needed to on that. So I just think it's kind of fit. There's only maybe a little tiny I'd shave.
I think this movie's pretty darn fat.
Like a steak. Like a bad
That's
steak.
not what I expected from you, madam.
So you guys.
He needed more
Kind of
info.
aiming this movie sort of towards me. I don't,
Oh yeah, this would be, if I had to guess, this would be a Mason pick.
This movie is way too bland for me.
Ooh,
I think that this movie.
buffet of bland.
It tries a lot of cool things. The narration, for instance, I appreciate the narration because it takes it on. Because obviously he's not going to speak in real life.
Yeah.
He trips over every single syllable in real life, but like the narration was almost too much for me. Those little like witty, I'm putting air quotes up there, witty jokes that he would do, like that ripping off the face, like that stuff didn't even bother, like that didn't even faze me, and I was just like, oh my god, just get to it. Little scenes along the way, his friend that he meets at the bar, and they're just kind of
Nah.
No.
Eat.
trim it. I don't want that. Like I get that they don't speak 3 words to each other in a
Eat.
day. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, whereas on the military side of things, I actually kind of sort of wanted a little bit more of that like developed because they weren't looking for this girl.
You've seen that YA dystopian world
100%.
a million times
100%.
before.
I have. But
I Am
they
Number
didn't
9 or
search
whatever?
for
All right.
her.
Well, you better give Hunger
Alright,
Games
so you're
1 and
talking
2 a
about
10 when
the
we
night
play.
when they were just sleeping in the suburbs and like they just
Oh,
look
yeah.
out the windows like, oh, there they are.
Yep.
Let's just go to sleep.
That
Yeah.
was the only time where they were like looking for it, which like they didn't show at all on the other side. I don't know. And the only highlights that you got from that world was whenever he ate what's his name's brains.
Oh,
which-
the uncanceled Franco.
Yes, the
Dave.
cooler
Dave,
one.
Yeah.
He's in 21 Jump
You
Street
know-
too.
Oh, he's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he is.
An interesting thing that could have happened with that suburb scene too, though, is
She got
they parked their car outside of that house. If these people have been like trolling over these same areas, gathering resources forever,
They would notice.
they would know like that's not been there before.
Yeah.
That's true.
So
That is true. But yeah, I don't know how to explain like how I would fix that movie. I just think that there was a lot of scenes that did not quite work for me, and a lot of it was just monologue or narrative parts versus actual dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Teresa Palmer was not bringing enough to the table for a single monologue in this movie. She really wasn't.
She just
Hey.
played the sexy girlfriend
And barely.
type.
Yeah, she did B and P up at one point. Bra and panties for those wondering at home. And
Yep.
it was a back shot too, which I thought was the smart move.
Which is weird because she's like, these clothes are like all wet and everything. I need to like take these off to get warm, and she still leaves bra and stuff on.
Well, the movie can only get away so.
No, I know that, but like, if you think about like, no,
Well,
those
and-
would be wet too.
Just
I don't know, they'd be dry by morning.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So you're in a room with some people. You've got wet clothes on. You're gonna go to sleep. Are you stripping down naked,
You're
or are you
stripping.
gonna at
It's
least
a
leave-
zombie. It's not a person. I don't know how we're not getting over that.
No,
it's
because
weird
at
enough.
this point she's talking with them, hanging out with
She's
them, letting them
full on
drive.
like
She's-
about to take the plunge with this
Yeah.
thing. This
Yeah,
wasn't
she-
day one. This
Take the
was-
7-inch challenge.
Yeah, she's
Damn.
she's deep into thinking he's a person at this point.
Deep.
So
Deep.
yeah.
Anyway, I think this movie's fit. I mean, it's like I keep saying when I give that score, it doesn't necessarily give it any credit or anything. I just what was on screen, I think, was what was needed for the movie. The only part, if I'm doing a Dylan kind of shaving treatment on it, would be like blowing the wall up and some of the stuff in
This
the
random thing
epilogue.
at the end just to sit there in the epilogue.
Yeah, and that's like a second. So like
I
really,
almost missed
it's
that one
fit.
for that matter too.
Yeah, because it's super quick.
Yeah.
like that. The blowing up the wall. Why would you have spent budget even animating that? Like,
Yeah,
that,
right.
that was-
We get the idea.
Yeah, and that didn't need that. They didn't. You don't even need to destroy the wall.
Mm.
No.
Like you spent all this time building the wall. You might need it later.
Well,
Yeah,
use
Why
those
the fuck would you
explosives for
destroy it?
something else.
Yes.
You can't undestroy a wall. You can always leave a wall up
Just
though.
Yeah.
put a hole in the wall and make it a door
Yeah,
for right now
right.
that you can always patch up.
They have a gate. I feel like that's
I mean,
sufficient.
are they trying to make it like symbolic to the Berlin Wall, where there's
Maybe.
zombies on the
Yeah.
other side,
Yeah.
being like, you know,
Let us
Mr.
know.
There,
They're
not
Speaking of references,
Uh-huh.
Oh,
he's gonna do it!
what about the scene where R comes up to Julie's freaking window? Am I right?
Dude, it's so good.
Man,
R, Julie,
the
Romeo,
symbolism.
Juliet.
The symbolism. Oh my god.
I do.
All right, but real quick, all poking it aside. Did you catch that the first time you watched it?
Yes.
That
I didn't.
scene was
I actually
very
didn't.
It was
familiar.
so obvious.
Yeah.
Maybe because I don't know, my eyes might have glazed over at one point on this part, but like I just didn't put those things together in my head, and then I read that and I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
It looked like too ugly. Like for the scene itself,
Yeah,
it was just
yeah,
like,
the
why
way
are they
it's shot.
filming it
Yeah,
downward?
it was deliberately framed to
mimic,
call
yeah.
back to.
And once
yeah.
somebody said that, I'm like, oh yeah, I could clearly see that. But at that time, for whatever reason, I was just like, who fucking cares? Like,
Also,
Did that teach you that at Grayson County?
probably.
what I thought was
That was the 9th grade English there.
so
all these people with these fucking balconies too.
I know.
I
Like,
know.
They're doing
I-
well.
bougie.
I don't have a balcony.
I love
I
that
wouldn't.
balcony.
You know what? I wouldn't let the zombies in, so I can keep my balcony residences
Yeah.
because now the
Yeah.
value's going down.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Mason?
Yeah,
Teresa Palmer is she's in a movie called Stockholm Syndrome. It's like a
Fitting.
yeah, I know, right? And it dawned on me sitting here. I was like, wait a minute, what the hell? This is like her niche. Like
I'm glad she didn't get typecasted. You know,
yeah,
as the girl who second most looks like Margot
Amber
Robbie.
Heard. Oh, I was gonna say like
Oh yeah, Amber Heard. Too.
Amber Heard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Amber Heard.
I think
probably.
I used to get those two confused.
I feel
I
like there's
see it.
Amber Heard and there's Margot and then there's like Teresa Palmer and then there's Samara Weaving and that's kind of like in this like
yes,
that's like the comparable bees.
Samara Weaving.
Yeah, when you
Who?
kind of want that actor, Samara Weaving's
I
the.
think of Sigourney Weaver or
No.
something.
No,
Who is
Samara
the-
Weaving
block
is
that.
the lookalike from Margot Robbie's that was in.
She's in
Guns
Ready or
Akimbo.
Not and
Uh-huh.
Guns Akimbo. She's
Yeah.
like the she's like the bad bitch.
God, can
the
we
one
re-
Nathan loved.
Can we review Ready or Not?
I love that movie.
I haven't watched.
Anyway,
I've got an obituary from Marlene Weaver that I don't think I found it.
Samara.
Dylan, go ahead with your question you came up
Yeah,
with.
so the question I was thinking of whenever we were sitting there doing it, totally original, and it is exactly what you thought it is. What did it better, Interstellar or Warm Bodies with This
Warm-
Is Love?
Warm Bodies. So many times over. At least Warm Bodies precludes the revelation that love is the answer, and that's what the whole movie's leaning towards. That's not what Interstellar is. That's not what it is.
I would watch Interstellar right now, and I know
Jesus.
that I'm signing up for a 3-hour long movie. because it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's great. The soundtrack's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean,
Bah!
I feel like Interstellar's one of those ones that's like slowly circled back around and be like, it actually
is about love,
It's
Murph.
kind of dumb, but it's also just it's not a bad movie.
It's terrible. It's the movie that made me realize, oh yeah, I don't like Christopher Nolan.
See, I think that.
It's a good thing you like Matthew McConaughey.
All right, so I'll say
Alright.
this. Yeah.
I like him in Rain of Fire, maybe.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
Bald head and shiny.
Yeah, yoked, beating the shit out of Bale during Batman years.
Slinging a great sword around.
That being said, yeah, Warm Bodies probably does the concept better, but Interstellar's a better movie. Interstellar's actually a really good movie. I would give it a high scoring review.
They didn't
You
even
can
go
look
to
at me.
space.
I don't care.
They didn't even go to space in Warm Bodies.
Nope, fucking casuals.
They don't even have those cool robot walking things
I know.
in Warm Bodies.
Oh god, I love that thing.
I can't remember
Anyway,
its name.
it'll come to me.
Nathan, get your foot up here.
Yeah, get your. With by our powers combined, most of it's
Oh,
off screen too.
No!
Get your foot off this.
There's
We're
mine.
Not, we're not too.
We're gonna have to charge for that.
I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah,
That's on our-
That's OnlyFans content.
That's on our
Yeah.
effing movie podcast.
FNOF.
OnlyFans.
Oh,
Yeah.
FNOF. That's confusing.
Anyways, let's get into scores. Price, top us up.
This movie's a 4 in my opinion.
Twice
It's-
as big as
Damn,
I
it
thought.
could have been a 6.
I know. Damn it.
that one song. That's a huge change.
20%
6 is like it's a pretty
Pretty
okay
okay
movie.
on the good side of average.
Yeah.
It's still a teenage romance at the end of the day. At least it does do something different, which I gave credit to as soon as Kelly asked me what I thought of it. That's the first thing I thought of when I thought of this movie. Is at least it's an original take on the zombie formula. But at the end of the day, it's not a zombie movie. It's a teenage romance. That's what this movie is at its core. It's more of a teenage romance with some flavor on that. And for that reason, I'm still not going to like it. It's got to be something like Your Name or something to really change my mind on that. And Your Name had a good soundtrack that fit in with the movie. This movie had a soundtrack they paid a lot of money for that was ham-fistedly thrown in there. The acting really was fine. Nothing too outstanding. John Malkovich doesn't do anything. The hot girl just plays the hot girl. She doesn't do anything while there's no depth there. I mean, Nicholas Hoult does a little bit. I mean, I think you do gradually see him becoming more human, like using more syllables, saying a bit more in his sentences. I think he obviously gave the best performance out of everybody, but he had the most to work with. Everybody else is a one-note character that doesn't get anything to work with, so there's nothing really to chew on there. There's no character development really in this movie, so I mean, it's just not a movie for me. So, but I mean, 4 is getting close to a 5, which is just a normal movie in my opinion. So it still is doing pretty well.
Yeah, for a second, I was gonna think if they made this animated, how would price like this? But they did. This was Ride Your Wave. It's the same movie.
I didn't hear them go Kimi got one time.
Well, you
You're
know
right.
what?
M83 was too busy
Yeah.
playing.
Right, M83 was playing, which I would take.
Replace him 83 with Kiwi God,
And it's back up to a 7.
Yeah.
Well, no, yeah, it's up to an 8.
Eights, yeah.
They
We're
played-
doubling the
they
score.
played
It's a
brand new
4-point swing.
They played Brand New Story a whole lot more than they played the
Price
Eminem
That's
one.
true.
songs.
I'm gonna
They
learn how to
did.
edit one day, and I'm just gonna edit.
You say
M83
that?
over Ride Your Waves, Kiwi Top.
You've been saying
and if you
that.
don't give it a better score, you're so full of shit.
Honestly, I would give it a worse score.
Get the
Get
fuck
back
out.
and
No,
punch you to death.
I swear I'd give Ride Your Wave a less score if it had the I really would. Because they actually would be kind of interchangeable. Brand New Story kind of has that melancholy overtone to it, but M83, like, it fits with the relationship thing.
Okay, Ride
Sorry.
Your Wave, Eat Your Brain. That's the English
So-
version.
Big hot take here. Price just said that he wanted a zombie movie, and what he was left with was a not good teen drama movie. I wanted a teen drama movie, and what I was left with was a fucking zombie movie, and they didn't even do zombies super well. It's an okay watch in the background. I think that it's slightly funny at parts, but I don't think that they nailed the comedy aspect very well at all. I mean, heck, you like that guy that none of us know his name that sits at the bars in the business suit or whatever.
Yeah.
And I like him in so many movies.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
so
he's
good.
good.
He's
And
good.
they give him basically one scene where he drives up and herds out all the zombies
Yeah.
together. He's kind of a hero.
Yeah, Rob Corddry.
What's his
Or
name?
Rob
Rob
Corddry.
Corddry.
Never would have got that.
Oh,
His name is
and-
M in this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. He's a handsome bald guy. Good for him.
Yeah.
He is. He is a good looking.
But I don't know. I think overall, this movie's it's a 5.5.
Whoa!
I don't think that it does
So
zombies
just above
super
average
well.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't do zombies super well. It definitely doesn't do most of those other genres well at all. And I don't know, maybe it's because there's a lot of zombie stuff coming out at this point. Dead Snow
Ooh.
had been out. That was kind of a joke, but,
Yeah.
unironically. But yeah, I don't know. It's just not my cup of tea.
Mason, why would you give a movie that you picked such a low score?
Right?
Right?
I wanted to watch Identity Thief, so we could all scream about it.
I think we would have.
Yeah.
I really liked that part when Jason Bateman did the thing.
And
Melissa
Melissa McCarthy
McCarthy
make the
made the
noise.
Yeah, Melissa McCarthy is the equivalent of fart jokes as a person, and
Her and Mall Cop, Paul Blart,
yeah.
they need to do a movie
They're
together.
the same person.
They
Yeah,
are.
They are. That's the equivalent of it. Anyway,
Kevin James.
Mason's close to being right. This is a
LeBron
6.5.
So what?
This is a 6.5.
Oh.
It's not the greatest movie. It's fit. It has a good little like spin on like zombie lore for what they're doing, and I think the teen romance stuff is like fine. Like it's fine. And why I'm not pushing it to like a 7, where I feel like this is like a strong like, oh yeah, this is like feeling like something I could rewatch. It's because yeah, after I've watched it, I'm just like it's tongue in cheek, it's corny, it's ironic, and none of these things are stopping from being bad. But it's also not doing it enough to be anything good, like anything that I would be like recommending, things like that. This is very much like it's better than bland, but it's not incredibly flavorful where I want to come back and eat it. You know, if you ever go to a restaurant or something, you order something, and you're like, I can't complain about it. I can't complain. The food's not bad. It's just like I could have made something better. I could have seasoned this a little bit more. That's kind of where I'm at with this movie.
So it's the Cheddars.
No,
It's the
Cheddar's.
Cheddar's effect.
Yeah, Cheddar's gets my fucking blood pressure up. Don't talk to me.
Their
about
chicken
Cheddar's.
strips slap.
No, they don't. They're so. Oh my god.
You
yes.
can't.
You are
try a
6.5.
Monte Cristo at home.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that
Watch
you
me.
can.
Watch me.
Anyway, so
That
yeah.
20-pound sandwich.
That you dip in raspberry preserves.
Yeah.
It's got confectioner's sugar on the top of it.
Pickle lane and flavor profile.
Cheddar's.
Salt
Let's
and
talk about that for a little while.
Son of a bitch.
Dylan could a long time.
6.5, and Cheddar's is a piece of shit. They don't take coupons for the desserts that clearly say free dessert.
Neil will come in and be like, "We talk about food."
Yeah, Neil will talk.
Podcast.
You know what? Neil will probably get on board with me on this one.
Nathan, you definitely need to go.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that this movie is refreshingly interesting in its take on zombies. I really quite enjoyed it. I like that there is different kinds of zombies. That's something you don't see in movies very much, though it is very common to be a thing in video games. I imagine much of the reason for that is that you don't want to CG
Overwhelmed.
kinds of
Yeah.
variants and things like that. But
It's not The Last of Us. They don't get that
I think it's fun
budget.
to have that. I think it's interesting for there to be like this moral dilemma and this schism amongst the like zombies themselves. I think this does a lot of cool, refreshing, interesting ideas. The movie itself, it's fine. I mean, it's not like. It's not something that I'd go out being like, oh yeah, you definitely got to check it out. But I feel like talking about the ideas that it introduces into the genre is cool. So, I don't know. I mean, I walked away from it being surprisingly, I found it actually surprisingly pretty enjoyable. So I'm going to give it a 7.
Up the ladder we go.
Yeah, that was good.
It was. We just went whoop.
Yeah. Now.
Ooh.
Is it time to
We get to
let the wheel
spin.
pick again?
I'm gonna spin. I haven't got to spin in a
No,
while.
you can't spin it
You
that
can
way.
spin
You
it
gotta
from
spin
that
it from
way
this
once.
side.
I can go
Let him
this
do
way.
it once.
You're gonna unspin the pegs.
That was the weakest.
That was a bad spin.
The blue
Ironically,
Well-
it's time for Nathan. You thought Marriage Story, you thought wrong. It's the Green Knight.
Oh my
The
god.
Green Knight. Okay.
Back-to-back movies Mason loves on the F
Yeah,
Movie Podcast.
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
What a great
No.
month. What a great month this is shaping up. to be.
A24's biggest hunk of something I've ever
Have
seen.
you seen this?
Yeah.
No.
I haven't.
No.
No.
No,
It's,
I just wanted to see it, so
Yeah.
now I will.
It's true. That's what this podcast is
Don't
for.
watch this movie sleepy.
Oh,
It is heavy.
it's heavy.
Hey,
Did you ever watch the
I'm about some heavy food.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I like the
Last
carb load.
Duel? Was that a movie?
Yeah, that was
The Last
Adam
Duel.
Driver.
Oh,
Adam Driver,
that's
yeah.
Ridley. That's Ridley Scott.
Yeah,
yeah.
but like it's like new, right?
Yeah, newer, yeah. It's,
It's
not
like
The Last
that, but
Samurai, that would be Tom
more.
Cruise. It's more.
That, but more.
More!
But I think the guy from Life of Pi or
I assure you, I don't know who you're talking about with that one.
The Tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I know is visually it looks.
Yeah,
It's
look
cool.
at good cinematography to it and things like that.
Guess we won't know until next week.
Guess next
Man.
week we'll find out with
What a
the
shame.
Green Knight, not to be confused with the Green Hornet, and
Or the Dark Knight.
or the Green.
Just please continue.
Make sure to check out our channel next week for the Green Knight. I almost said Hornet. And make sure let us know in the comments below. Which movie do you think did love better? Is there a movie that does love better? Is this truly the love story of our generation? Let us know.
yeah. We need to know.
Yeah, if you think that this movie is, worth listening to, talking about, or if you just appreciate that we watched the movie and you're maybe in this weird, niche camp that just adores this movie, give us a thumbs up, because you know what? We're kind of with you a little bit on it, somewhat.
Some of us.
Some of us. And then otherwise, make sure to subscribe, and then whenever the next movie review drops, make sure to hit that bell.
Oh,
You got so that you know when we're
Why?
dropping the next film with all the enthusiasm. Until next week, guys, we will see you then. Bye.
Bye.